So this is the 301st episode. We're into our 7th year of the Rochester Press Box. I don't know that when we started this thing that we figured we'd get that much time out of it.
I remember getting together for that first show.
Oh, it's a great show, Mike.
Yeah, it was a great show. We had some issues that first show.
Were we downtown somewhere at the old McGregor's?
McGregor's.
Welcome to the debut edition of the Rochester Press Box here at McGregor's. I'm Bill Pucko, and the esteemed panel this week, you know them, some of them you love. I'd like to introduce, we'll start over here, Bob Matthews from WHAM, the former lead columnist at the Democrat Chronicle, Mike Catalana from 13 Wham TV, John DiTullio from WHTK.
The greatest thing that ever happened to your show, when Matthews walked out because he didn't get the memo about wearing a coat because he doesn't look at his text.
Well, no, he didn't have a cell phone.
He didn't have a cell phone.
Who doesn't have a cell phone?
Bob Matthews.
Even you have a cell phone. I'm looking at your giant text messages.
Why do people make fun of big text? I've always wanted to ask that question.
Well, because it's old guys read big. No offense, Johnny, I love you to death, but you can't make fun of Bob Matthews. That'd be like giant text phone.
This is what he's gotten out of the show. He's become the designated young guy.
A typical millennial. You're about 30, Duffy, and I love you. But you're gonna get. You know what? You'll be here someday.
You know what it is?
You'll be going to the bathroom at 2 in the morning too, nightly. Trust me.
Looking at the big text on your phone. You know what I'm not doing? I'm not making the text bigger. I'm just getting a bigger phone. That'll make it a lot better.
So John runs about the first 3 years, and then we had Pat in as a guest a couple of times, and he was exceptional. Hello, everyone, and welcome into the original Rochester Press Box here. Bill Pucko with you, along with John DiTullio in his Hall of Fame jacket. Good to see you, Johnny.
I love this coat. B, it's great to be with you, Billy. I love you, buddy.
Mike Catalana from 13 Wham News.
Good to be back.
And it is our pleasure to introduce Pat Duffy from the Break Room on WCMF, who's breaking in here on the original Rochester Press Box.
I don't care how much experience you guys have. I am not conforming to your jacket standards in this room.
Well, the bar's not real high.
I think of all the guest hosts we had, and we could speak, right, Mike?
Yeah.
He was ranked number one in both polls.
Yeah.
Both polls I had you number one.
Well, it's funny. I remember, I get the phone call from you guys. It's like, hey, do you want to come in and do this thing? I was like, yeah. And I remember being a little intimidated because not to be that guy.
Well, because we're here.
Well, no, because I had grown up watching you guys on television because we didn't have cable and I had nothing else better to watch. But I was excited. I loved watching you guys when I was a kid. I was like, oh man, what am I going to do? These guys are really bright and they know what they're talking about. And 5 minutes in, I knew that was a complete lie and I was going to fit in just fine.
Well, I remember asking you guys, you were both in favor of Duffy, and it was a 2-1 vote.
Yeah, it took about, 3 seconds to decide? Oh, by the way, who was up for it? Did you have any other names without naming? But you know what I'm saying?
Of course not.
The people that are coming up, I mean, are you hearing both sides?
I hear both sides, of course. Yeah, I really think that I would honestly take Incognito's side.
In all seriousness, was you used to tell when you told stories about your family and going to football games, and your father passed during the time that we were doing this, and it was a real nice tribute to your dad.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot, and John and I have talked about this before, of how you start becoming a sports fan, right? It's playing, but in a lot of cases, and I know you have a lot of those memories too, in terms of the Bills and loving teams, and I've always felt like, look, you can't necessarily be a fan as a reporter, but man, you got into this because you're a fan, right? You gotta be.
In every one of those games, either going down to Philly or being here, my dad's been here with me in those games. And the last time he was here 4 years ago when they played a game at the Ralph, and he passed away a couple of months later. And I was thinking of that as I was getting ready for this game. And I have a quick story to tell of an Eagles-Bills game. Back in the day, Donovan McNabb was playing for the Eagles. And I got my dad a press pass for the game, but I told him, I said, Dad, you can't talk to anybody. This is just for you to be hanging with me during the post game. Just don't talk. So anybody who had ever known my dad knows that was tough for him to do. So we're in the room with Donovan McNabb. There was the big controversy with Rush Limbaugh. Huge room for the interview, and he's on the far side of the room. And as soon as the interview's done, I see my dad making a beeline to McNabb. And I'm like, oh, please, don't say anything, don't say anything. He goes up, he talks to McNabb. And I'm trying to stop him. McNabb was awesome. He said, nice to meet you, shook his hand. A little bit later, I go in the locker room, I say, stay in the hallway, Dad. I wait. I come back out in the hallway. He introduces me to Jeffrey Lurie, the Eagles owner. They were hanging in the hallway. Fast forward to the end of the game, I do my live shots. Everybody's out of the building. Here comes Ron Jaworski. I figure, I know him a little bit from covering the games. Eagles quarterback. I say to him, Ron, you got a second? My dad's here, season ticket holder. He'd love to meet you. He goes, oh, sure. Turns, he looks at my dad, and he goes, oh, we already met. We were just talking in the other room.
That's great.
I'll be covering the Bills and the Eagles game this week. But just needless to say, it won't be the same.
That's priceless, man. Thank you very much.
You don't, and I always get a little frustrated with other reporters who seem like they don't like sports anymore. I still love sports. I mean, we cover the Bills especially, but I love sports, and that really started with my dad.
That unfinished business is nice. I mean, you guys, you really took to it, and you tell real stories, and you make real points.
But to that point, to what Mike just said, I mean, the reason you guys are so fun to hang out with and cool to hang out with, and I enjoy spending time with you, is exactly what he just said. There are so many people in this business now that are either resentful for the money these guys are making or the time that they're not getting. And you're right, they go to these games with a puss on their face, and you guys still love the game, and it's easy for me as more of a fan than a media person to relate and talk about what happened. That's why this show is fun.
You haven't had a job in 30 years, if you think about it, Mike.
I know.
Right? Your family, that's real work what your family did.
Yeah.
But what do? What do I do? Wake up, cover sports, go to bed. My homework is I got to watch the game. That's our homework. That's great homework.
It was something that was always worth reminding yourself that there's a lot of people out there that thought, I could do that job better.
Have you ever complained really going to work?
No, not about that.
Not yet.
This show could use,
This show would bring it down.
You know what this show could use? It could use like a comedian. It could use somebody funny. If we could get that, then I think...
You've been trying for what, 301 episodes now?
They were lucky to be within that one score. It was New England's arrogance that put the Bills there. They know they did not play well. The defense got crushed in that game.
Do it quick.
Crushed.
You want to talk about lucky? Let's talk about lucky. They started, other than the opening drive, their opening drives inside the 35, the Patriots, three times. You give Brady the ball inside 35, they're going to score 3 touchdowns. That's not going to happen.
Was it some league rule?
But I'm saying that's not going to happen every week. Freak bounces off hands. And by the way, you talk about arrogance. People are saying they ran up the score because Rex was talking the way he was.
They tried to run up the score.
And you know what happened?
They didn't do it.
They almost lost the game.
That's what I said.
Because Rex was talking junk.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. He can't hear me from over here. I'm saying it was Belichick's arrogance and stupidity almost got his quarterback killed.
Okay.
And it hurt them.
But it didn't because his arrogance was the reason the Bills got to fight back in that game because Brady was back to pass when he coughs that ball up, which puts them within a possession with a buck and a half.
The Bills played lousy. They know they played lousy. The defense got embarrassed in that game. And Tyrod got sacked 8 times and threw 3 interceptions.
Have you changed your own perception of yourself, having done this show now, being like a sports professional, which you weren't known as before?
Yeah, he's half the size that he was when he started doing the show.
Well, besides that.
No, not really. Like, listen, everyone knows I'm a goof, right? Like, for some reason, I have this weird sports savant head like all you guys have. I remember things that I don't know why I'm remembering, but I don't take myself too seriously, just like you guys don't take yourselves too seriously.
Dash good looking here. Pat Duffy. Nice coat. Something has to be said about it.
What?
The jacket.
Oh, yeah, it looks great.
It's very muted.
Yeah, it does look good.
Thank you very much.
Well, let's start with baseball since
It's weird. Other people have that perception where I'll have people stop me on the street and be like, what do you think about the Bills this weekend? And I'm like, what the heck are you asking me? I don't know. You know more than I do.
Now they
Seriously, who is stopping you on the street to ask you that?
Folks who heard your take and then decided they needed a good one.
Very nice. Well, guys, like on behalf of the crew, Joe Brad.
Kudos, man. You've been going a long time at this, Billy. Continuing that career.
Yeah,
At one
it's
time,
been
you were
a
the
lot of fun.
longest tenured sports anchor in this town. I used to say that every
At
week
one
on my
time?
show.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us here at McGregor's downtown for the Rochester Press Box. Bill Pucko with you. As always, Mike Catalana joining me. We have Brian Mazurowski from Classy Wolf Media and the High School Sports Beat. And joining us for the first time, we have...
At one time.
At one time? So this doesn't count.
And the mantle now goes to this
I guess the mantle goes to this
I love
guy.
when he starts talking quieter, like
right
that's
here.
going to make it better.
Goes to Mike Catalana. I don't know if you
It's
heard of Mike
daily.
Catalana.
I'm daily.
Well, if you
You had the record. Catalana just surpassed
You did
it.
take it.
Went funky, punk, and now Catalana.
And there's nothing
running
I can
with
do
it.
about
Funky, he's a politician.
Yeah, politician don't count.
That counts against him now,
That's
doesn't
right.
it? Never
It's
retrace
on the
it.
negative side.
Yes.
So thanks to all of you guys, and thanks for you all for anytime you've watched the show over the past 7 years, 301 programs from all of us. Thank you very much. I haven't seen a single baseball game start to finish in the whole month of September, and it pains me to think that all these years, a statement that I thought was just self-absorbed and just flat out wrong was that the baseball playoffs need the New York Yankees. I'm getting to come around on it. Last year we had the Boston Red Sox had the great run, but this year Boston's not in it. The Yankees aren't really going to be it. The Phillies aren't going to be in it. I find that as you reach the postseason, and I haven't seen these games, that I really need the New York Yankees. I need that team to hate. We'd like to thank you for watching the original Rochester Press Box this week, John. You always say hate's a good thing.
It is, but come on. You hate the... I don't believe that take.
About hating the Yankees?
I want them in the playoffs.
Who doesn't? Oh, okay, yes, that. I was going to say, who doesn't hate the Yankees?
I love you,
Mike.
Mike.
And Duffy, it was a real delight.
Hey, boys, thanks for letting me hang. I appreciate it.
And thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next week on the original Rochester Press Box.